Petrified, and you're watching Chasing History, brought to you by the Smoky Mountain Relic Room and American Digger magazine, and we are in the home of the Smoky Mountain Relic Room, the largest diversity of history for sale in North America. We're coming to you live now because we kind of had a mess up on one of our episodes. So sound has always been a big problem for us, and we've got a fantastic episode on fossil trees, petrified trees in the Triassic era. We were working with the new mic, the mic cut out, it cut back on. We totally lost our entire ending of the episode, but there's still a great front part of that episode on there. So what we want to do is show it to you as what we got, and just see what you guys think. So watch the episode. I'll come back on the end and tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. So here's your episode. So we're in a sense hunting for Triassic fossils. Now way out here in these expanses, you wouldn't think that there would be any kind of fossil, anything going on out here. But, you know, like any place in America, you know, you're going to find all kinds of cool fossils. You've just got to get out and hunt for it. And some of the best places to hunt for that is areas like this, like the Badlands, where you can see we've got erosion going wrong out here. I mean, this is like a bad day for erosion. You know, and what this is this is the softer clays that are swelling up and eroding out at a much quicker and faster rate than the surrounding soil. So these Badlands are a pretty awesome place to check out. So, you know, now this is the Triassic period. Now fossils in the Triassic are really super rare. You don't see a whole lot of people hunting these kinds of fossils because, you know, there's just not a lot of areas in North America where these fossils are exposed, you know. And another reason is it's not nearly as cool as, you know, the dinosaur fossils. You know, everybody really likes hunting for dinosaur stuff, but, you know, this is the time just before the dinosaurs. So what we're going to do is we're going to head out here. We're going to show you guys some of the petrified wood things that Aamon's been finding. So we'll see how that goes. Now this kind of shows us that we're kind of on the right direction for where we're hunting. Here's a nice little piece of petrified wood. Now, as Aamon was saying, you know, this is all palm wood, but it's pretty easy to identify. You know, I mean, it kind of looks like a log, you know, that's been split today, you know, with the same kind of things going on and everything. But that is a beautiful little piece of petrified wood. We'll leave it there to show Aamon later. And what we're going to head is we're going to head down there towards that expanse to what Aamon calls his lumber yard. So we'll head down there and check that out. Dude, this is insanely friggin' awesome. So this is a petrified tree.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm touching the Cretaceous, or not the Cretaceous, but the Triassic right now.
Yep, you are, absolutely.
God, it's so cool. What is this, dude?
This is the biggest window we have back into the Triassic era.
Wow.
The paleobotany in this fauna and flora is absolutely incredible and tells a massive story about what life was like 220 million years ago.
So how can it tell this massive story? What's it telling?
So the type of tree itself, the Araucaria palm, those were massive palm trees. It showed that it's very hot, it's very humid. There's actually quite a bit of moisture out here too. A lot of water running through these areas. It's just a big floodplain, and these trees would just grow up out of any kind of more solid sediment they could find. And there's thousands of them out here at this point in time.
Is this a species that's still around today?
We do have Araucaria. Well, we have the palm today, obviously, and we do have an Araucaria that is very similar, but it's much, much smaller. So we don't have any Araucaria that got, 40, 50 feet tall like it did millions and millions of years ago.
but that's how this is the window into that era. We know that this tree is what species it is, and we know what climate that species lives today, and so then we can have a window into what that climate was in the Triassic period.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's awesome, man!
Now, what's so amazing about this area is the just absolutely spot-on, incredible bark preservation. This gives you an idea of what the outer portion of this tree really was like. Most petrified wood that you find today is tumbled in a natural river system. Yeah. So a lot of that natural bark is gone. It gets worn away over time. So, but this stuff is so perfect that every little nook and cranny of the bark, every little knot, every little borehole from worms, completely preserved, 100%.
That's nuts.
And then we also get a massive window into how the tree died. You can see all these big pockets in here of crystal. And every single pocket of crystal is ancient fungal spore replacement. So it's a fossil within a fossil. Now sometimes the whole entire core of this tree will just be rotted out with these crystals. So the tree would fall over and die. The fungus then loses a living host to live off of. So the fungus actually dies off secondary. So once that fungus dies up, you have this big empty chasms where it was once growing. So dirt and sediment and all sorts of stuff would fill in there first. And then you trigger some heat, maybe some seismic activity, and you get beautiful crystal growth within the tree.
Way.
Absolutely.
So is that kind of like what you were showing us here?
Yes. Yep.
This is that crystal.
Yes, this is that crystal core that we're talking about.
You guys got to check this out. All right, look at look at this. This is so cool. So this crystal right here, this is a fossil of a fungal. So explain that.
It's fungal spore replacement.
This
was once the fungal spores themselves.
Okay.
And now once we cut this and we go ahead and polish it, you can actually see all these little blotches all over the wood. They're kind of hard to see right now, but you can get an idea of where they were.
Like see, there's one right there.
Yep. And then that's the fungal spore pockets. So it's a fossil within a fossil.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. So Triassic. What was running around with this tree?
So with these trees up on land, we had a lot of the more terrestrial animals.
Okay.
The Postosuchus, the Poposuchus, the Adiosaurs. Yes, the Poposuchus.
That's awesome.
And the Adiosaurs, which were the herbivores that were kind of like a big anteater.
Yeah.
They had armor scuting going all down their body. And then we also had the first raptor-like species called Coelophysis out here as well.
So we had the first raptors running around.
Yes, the first raptor-like species. Yep, absolutely. Like the very first ones were running around out in the Triassic Chinle out here.
Yeah, because see, this is all before the dinosaurs kind of took off. These are the species that are just now starting to bounce back after the Permian extinction.
Yep.
Life is just starting to gain ground again.
Yep, they're called archosaurs. So that's the best way to remember them is it's the archosaurs we're digging on, not quite dinosaurs. And that's why, to a lot of the public, these critters are kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
They don't really bear that dinosaur name, So it does take a certain sort of mind that really wants to get into dinosaurs and dig into the nooks and crannies of these odd species to figure out what these are.
That's awesome. And then these are the trees that were living when it was around.
Yes, these are the trees that are living.
That's cool. So what else do you want to show us on the trees?
Oh boy, we got some beautiful trees over on the other side of the hill I got to show you. You can see all the rings going through it. It gives you an idea of the color it's going to be once it's polished out.
Nice.
They are just spot on.
Nice. Let's go check it out, guys. Come on. Dude, what the... Dude! Like, seriously, man. What is this? Dude. This is awesome.
So, when you're looking for the petrified wood in the Triassic, this is what you really hope to find. A much more larger scale tree. We don't know quite yet how big this critter is. Critter being a tree in this case. We know that we have about 18 to 20 feet of it so far, but it does indeed keep going into the ground here. When this started, all we saw was just this big strip of bark sticking out of the ground right here by this bush.
Yeah.
And we just started mapping everything out, and then we found the end this way, and we still haven't found the end going this way quite yet. But this is one of those large Araucaria palms I was talking about that just has amazing preservation. You can see the big knot on the side of it down here.
Yeah.
You can see all the rings in the tree still on the inside there. There's lots of crystal replacements, so there was fungal spores in it.
Okay, so this is an example of a tree that died from...
Whether this was from an extinction event or the fungus, I couldn't tell you for sure, but there is a lot of fungus in it. Fungus replacement.
Dude. This is nuts, man! This is a giant friggin' tree. Look at this! This is freaking awesome, dude! God, this is so cool. It's Triassic. This is insane, man.
This is literally older than the dinosaurs. This tree is 220 million years old.
Ah!
So right now we're in what's called the Black Forest portion of the Triassic Chinle.
Alright, what's that?
So you get different colors of wood. And all the wood is based on a secondary process called silicification. Now, silicification happens after the wood is petrified, which means all the organic material has now been replaced with inorganic material. So the fossil still continues, though, to want to harden and leach other material from all around it. So based on the minerals that are in the ground is what color the wood will be once you polish it. Right. The black portion of the Triassic chimney is mostly carbon, iron, and manganese, which makes the wood polish pretty jet black.
Wow.
But there's still fungal spore replacement. You can still see the rings. There's going to be all sorts of crystals running through it, so it's not just like a sheer black. It is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And that's why in the petrified forest you find what's called rainbow wood. And the rainbow wood will be red, yellow, blue, green, I mean all sorts of different colors. And that's all different irons, different jaspers. There'll be blue calcimia that's in the ground that leaches into the tree. It just pulls in all these different minerals for millions and millions of years before it's finally exposed and weathers out, and we get to see the just sheer beauty of what happens in 220 million years.
Awesome. So I mean, that's it, guys. That's fossilization. It's the replacement of the organic material with the minerals that are present in the soil. So again, why does this? All right. So the wood that we looked at up there, which is higher in elevation, which I would assume is younger in time than this.
Could be, absolutely.
So, and this is a different color than the logs that we just saw?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so what you were saying it was what? Iron, manganese?
And carbon.
And carbon.
Yep.
That's giving it that black color to it. So, why are the minerals different? I mean, it just looks like elevation. We're just 15 feet below the last one. So what happened in that 15 feet time span?
Well, the minerals are actually so isolative that even 15 feet apart, 30 feet apart, you can find different colors in different trees. Really? So the minerals are that different in that little bit of space, I guess you could say. And that could all be based on the pH of the soil, because you're right, there is a little bit of a window of time in between there.
Yeah.
Could be thousands of years, could be millions of years. It's really hard to tell. But that little bit of difference there does indeed bring on different minerals that settle into the ground over time. So the tree's next door neighbor can be a completely different color within reason. Now, since we're in the black forest portion of the Triassic chimney, most all of this is going to bear a lot of black color. We do get a lot of yellows. We get a lot of kind of tannish blonde colors as well. And that's all from different minerals, too. That's different iron. Some of it's volcanic ash, which is really neat. So it's all very different out here.
Down here, there's a little bit of carbon.
Yes.
Down here.
Yep.
So what's going on with
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That's actually something I wanted to tell you guys about.
Hold on, let me show you guys. Look at that. See, you got the black carbon, the ash. All right, Aamon. So what's going on with this carbon layer?
I'm glad you brought that up. Now, that black carbon layer is actually what gives us such beautiful, perfect preservation from this tree. When you dig these trees out from this scale and this size, there's going to be a thick black layer that's called lignite. And it's all around the tree 100%. And you have to chip that stuff away, which is very loose.
Go ahead.
And that's what exposes the just beautiful bark here. Now, what lignite is it's actually dead organic matter, different plants, different branches. It's mostly all organic matter. There's not going to be any vertebrate fossils or anything like that. It's just all dead organic matter that fell into the swamps too, fell around the trees, and basically encased them from water flow, and then slowly started to mineralize over time into lignite. So a lot of people think it's from forest fires, things like that, but it's actually not. It's a whole different process.
Okay, so that's not evidence of burning. That's just evidence of transfer.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's Triassic?
That's Triassic. It's ancient organic matter from the Triassic. Now, there's no organic matter left.
Triassic?
Triassic.
So that's not some dude up here is hanging out, had a fire.
No.
Dug little holes, I got to throw my fire or try to catch this wood over something stupid. Yeah. That's actual Triassic.
It's roughly 220 million year old dead organic matter.
Dude, that's so friggin' awesome, man. No way. So that's as close to that we can get. This is just... God, this is cool, man. Look at this. Seriously, check this out. That is freaking Triassic carbon. I mean, it looks like plants.
Yeah, it looks like charcoal in a way.
Yeah, it looks like charcoal. I mean, is that what this is? I mean, that's just so soft and malleable.
Some people have said before that it was indeed from burning organic matter. I don't think there's any scientific evidence to back that. I have seen lignite before in the Cretaceous, a ton encasing bones.
Yeah.
And it's just the organic matter that falls around the bone and gets lodged up underneath of it too.
Yeah.
So, which I can pretty well safe to say after doing research, that's exactly what we have going on here.
No way.
So just the organic matter holding it, helping that preservation. and basically giving or allowing it to have such beautiful bark texture in its preservation. This, in a way, kind of protects it.
So this is what's protecting that tree.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
This is cool,
yeah, this
man.
Is neat.
This is totally
really
awesome.
Fun.
That's nuts, dude.
So
that's awesome.
So this is tree number 15 out here. And we have 29 total marks so far.
Okay.
So I would love to show you guys the rest of them.
Yeah, let's go check them out, dude.
Cool,
this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool, sounds good.
What the friggin' heck? Look at the size of this thing.
Yeah, it's a big one.
This is insane. I mean, this is, look, it's, God, this is nuts, dude. What species is this?
So this is the Araucaria palm tree that we talked about before.
So this is the same, a lot of the same species
Yep.
that you've got around.
Yep, absolutely.
How often do you see pieces this big?
Not too often. You know, usually you see the ones that are about 2 feet in diameter, but to get these bigger 3.5, 4 foot diameter ones is pretty rare. Now this guy's just starting to erode out. We haven't even dug alongside him to see how wide he is yet. We have no idea how far this guy goes. We just know that he's here right now and he's starting to weather out. So the rescue mission needs to begin here soon.
That is, look how big this thing is. This is nuts, dude. This is awesome. Well, let's check out some of the other ones you got.
All right, cool.
That's nuts. Dude, this is epic. Now, this is more of that crystallized fungus that you were talking about earlier. So so again, how do we have crystals next to what? Look, it's crystals, man. Look at this. This is nuts, dude. Check it out. It's freaking crystals on petrified freaking wood. Dude, what in the name of Narnia is this?
The wood that we looked at before, you can see it from the top view. You can see the kind of pockets of it, essentially.
Yeah.
In this case, what this is with the wood is this is actually nearly a whole ring that's been exposed from the inner portion of the wood, and you can see where the fungus was growing in that ring itself. It broke down the composition of that entire shoot for this section.
So when this tree would have been alive, would it have had a hollow center?
No, not at all. The fungus inside of it is indeed eating away at the wood.
Okay.
I mean, it's starting to create an open chasm there, but by no means naturally would it have a big hollow chamber going down the center or anything. You know, the Araucaria palms, they were pretty big, thick, stout trees when they were alive. So this is all the crystal replacement of that fungal spore that really enjoyed that tree, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, dude, but not only that, but look at this whole hillside behind us. I mean, dude, there's so much crystal and sparkle back here, man.
Yeah.
This is nuts, dude. So all of that crystal that's back here is all caused by that fungus that attacked this tree.
Yep, and it's the replacement of that fungal spore. So when the tree died, there was an open chasm that was left because the fungus lost its living host.
Yeah.
So that's first to rot away. So then that chasm gets filled with dirt and sediment, and then you trigger some seismic activity or some sort of heat. And that's how you get the crystal growth going through here.
Okay.
And as you can see, it even preserves on the smaller pieces as well. So that's all still from that same layer.
I mean, look how it sparkles in the sunlight, man. Dude, that's just awesome,
It's incredible,
man.
and it's absolutely beautiful.
That is insane. There's some serious science here going on, man. That's really cool. But you can like show this on a loop, and you can see the cellular
Absolutely,
structure.
and that's how we identify what species it is based on the cell structure. And of course the bark texture too, the growth, things like that. You know, there's only 3 species of wood out here, and the Araucaria is hands down the most prevalent. It covers about 90% of what we find out here.
This is insane. It's crystal wood, man. What the frick, dude? This is so cool. All right, well, you're going to collect some of this?
Yep, absolutely. We're going to dig some trees out. We're going to get working.
All right, well, let's get to it, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. So some of the other really cool stuff that you guys can find out here besides Triassic stuff is also Native American stuff. So we're walking out here and we found a nice little pottery shard straight down here. Let's show you guys that. This is my first time using a monopole, trying to do the Survivor Man thing. But there, it's a beautiful little prehistoric pottery shard. It is really cool. Now, according to what Aamon was saying when we were reading this out here, it used to be really heavily wooded at one point. So, you know, the trees are long since gone by now, but still it just shows you that, you know, areas change, the landscape changes. The landscape that you're seeing today where you're at is going to be totally different 50 years or 100 years from now. So, and that's really cool when you think about it. So,
this area was once heavily wooded, and now, it's this barren wasteland. So just another perspective to think about when you guys are staring out your window today.
Hey guys, man, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I cannot tell you how, I wish you guys could have seen Chris and I sitting down, going through all the shots that we made, and just the hands in our face, and and just the pains of learning how to do this process to bring what we do to you guys. So, just real quick, who are we? We are the Smoky Mountain Relic Room. What you're watching is Chasing History. Chasing History is the educational arm of our business. What we're all about is we are all about educating the public about fossils, minerals, artifacts, meteorites, all that cool stuff outside that you can see. We also have a store inside of Smoky Mountain Knife Works in Sevierville, Tennessee, at the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, where we offer awesome things for sale to the public at prices that they can afford. That's the thing is like we've tried to teach you, fossils aren't rare, artifacts aren't rare, this stuff is out there. There's just a handful of people that are out there actively hunting it. And what we do is we go out, we meet those people, we purchase these things from them, and we bring them to you, the public, and we show you how this stuff is discovered to hopefully inspire you to get out off the couch and go out and discover some history of your own. So that's kind of who we are, and this is our store. If you hear the rushing water sound in the background, it's not another mic problem, I promise. We think we've got that under key. But we actually literally have a river running through our store. Like, that's a river running through our store. We're inside of Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It's a 110,000 square foot store where there's knives, kitchen gadgets, guns, and us all under one roof with 2 waterfalls, 2 creeks, the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains. It's pretty awesome. If you want to see more about us, you can go to our website, www.therelicroom.com, or follow us on social media. Follow us on Smoky Mountain Relic Room on Instagram, Smoky Mountain Relic Room on Facebook, and we're going to bring you a Chasing History Facebook page where you can follow all the adventures there. And like everything, you can follow us everywhere, but we will never be on Twitter, ever. There's just something we got about Twitter. So back to the trees. Here's something that we discovered after this trip that you saw. So we got home and I just got into looking at and searching for fluorescent minerals. These are minerals that glow under shortwave and longwave UV light. And so I took that petrified, those tree fossils that we found out at Aamon's place that you just saw, and I put them under the light. But you got to check this out. This is so cool. All right, so we're going to come back to my office. Come on back. This is the bat cave. Don't be afraid. Under the waterfall. I think I got the coolest office in the building. Alright. So if you want to see where Chase Pipe spends a lot of his time, this is it. Welcome to my office. Here's what we've got. So we've got the crystallized petrified wood. That's the crystallized petrified wood that we collected at Aamon's. That's what you just saw. Now, check this out! I'm going to cut off the light. Cut on the short wave. And look at that. Is that not incredible? Look at that one. That one glows really, really good. So what we figured out, or what we discovered, is that these pieces of wood glow under shortwave UV. And as far as we can tell, nobody had known this before. Nobody knew that this wood in this formation, in the Chinley Formation, glowed under shortwave or longwave UV light. That's a relatively new thing. So here's what we did. A couple months later, we went back, made a trip back to Aamon's, and we did a whole episode on that right there. So we go back out to see if petrified wood glows under UV, or if this was just a fluke, or what the deal about it is. So be looking for that episode, because it's a short one, but man, it's an awesome one. Guys, thank you so much for following our channel. Like, we really, really, really appreciate it. We're not backed by the Travel Channel or History or any of these. We're just passionate history and science nerds that love bringing you this stuff, you know, and showing this to you and sharing it with you and inspiring you to get out and discover some of this history. So, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe this episode if you like and subscribe this episode, or if you like this episode and want to subscribe on it. We would appreciate it because it really helps their algorithms push us up to the top. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to share this awesome world with you guys out there. So, until then, guys, wait for the next episode. And remember, history rocks. Woohoo! Never, ever be on Twitter. Ever. We will never, ever be on Twitter. Ever.